Guys, so what it is your girl Cadillac just rocking on this porch, girl. I am the OG prison wife. I am also Cadillac Dixon, the drama like prison wife, the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all face too black. It's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, we gonna make our way on to that car because I'm gonna tell my little story time in the car, girl. See the rain. Whew, the sky is really pouring, falling. Okay, guys. So what it is July the 2nd. Let me show you something really quickly before we get back into the story time. So yesterday, y'all know I was going to try to print this picture. I still ain't found a place to just print some darn freaking pictures on photo paper. But we still trying to figure that out. So as I'm getting out the car rushing, because your girl's always in a rush, I picked up this book. And I'm going to start learning like the stuff inside of here. This seems like a really good book. And the way that I got this book, sorry, I'm trying to show it to you guys. Okay, the way that I got that book is because it was a girl, like, you know how you getting out, you going into a store or whatever, and someone comes meet you at your car. Hold on, this contact is bothering me. I didn't get to, y'all know I fell asleep in the chair last night if y'all watch my short vlogs today. So I didn't soak my contact, so it is really like hurting. Okay, so anyways, you know how you getting out the car, you heading into the store, you're in a rush and someone stops, you know, usually because they're selling something, they're trying to make money, make ends meet, whatever. And the girl comes up to me and she's like, she's trying to stay into college. Oh my God. Even if that girl was lying, girl, I'ma support you because I support anybody with their education, with their moving up, with their anything. Yes, girl. People don't even carry cash like that, but I gave her everything I had in my wallet, which was like $7. That's all I had. So anyways, I'm like, okay, whatever. So I need to start going through that book anyway. Y'all know I told y'all I wasn't the greatest cook. That's because I'm the greatest artist, and your girl can't be great at everything, like for real. Anytime my mama tried to teach me how to cook, I used to exit. I would exit left, the quickest exit, and be drawing on something or cutting stuff up. So I don't know, my passion was always art, but I could have been passionate in, food is kind of art. So you know what? That needs to be my new thing that I really get into, like actually cooking and designing food and stuff like that, and being more healthier. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry. The car makes noise, but it's hot. It's hot. And I can't let the window down because it's raining. So as soon as it stops raining, I'll let the window down and you won't hear the car noise anyway. But anyways, I'm going to support anybody that is trying to support themselves, education wise, just living wise. If you're trying to come up, if you're trying to make it, just like when I was out there rapping, it wasn't all about me handing out my demo. When anybody gave me a demo, the guys used to be like in the parking lots or whatever. Oh, $5 for my demo. I give you $5. Like, I didn't care. Like, and I would listen to it too. That's the part. Most people won't listen to your demo. Baby, I'll pop it right in. Now we ain't got CD players, but I used to pop it right on in and listen to the demo because the artist just wants to be seen or heard. Many great artists never get the time of day, never get the light of day. And that's what really aggravates an artist, because your art is your passion. You're basically taking yourself and putting all that is you into some type of art form, whether it's music or painting or whatever. And when people reject that, it feels like rejection because people won't pay attention to it. It basically makes it feel like they're rejecting you when they're just rejecting your art. But they don't understand that it is very hard for artists to separate themselves from their art. Okay, so anyways, support. Okay, so now let's jump back into this story. This is part 2 of why my old ass work at a theme park. Okay, Okay, so I think I left off with the part where basically I was getting rid of for everything, anything that they could write me up for. There was this one part that I did skip in that first part, and I was about to get into it, and I think I got off on a tangent about how, it just doesn't work whether you go to sleep as soon as you get off of work when you're working the third shift, or if you stay up a while and then go to sleep. It just doesn't work. So I got off on that tangent and forgot to tell you all this. So it was one time. Now, already, I used to have to be to work by 10 p.m. So when it's hitting that 8 o'clock hour, you already are in dread. Like, I dread going to work. It's like dreading a tap. I kind of dread it now, girl, but not like then. That was my worst ever job in the world. No other job ever compares to that job at that super center. So around 8 o'clock, dread starts setting into your body, and you're like, oh, I gotta go to work. You're tired as I don't know what. So at that time, I used to have 2 breaks, and I would have an hour-long lunch. And I would always, I got so much artwork done. Even though I hated that place, I got a lot of artwork done because on my 15-minute breaks and my lunch, I was always creating. I always had some type of canvas under my arm that I was taking to work. When I was doing my t-shirts, I would have the little board with my t-shirt spread over it. I had like this box of acrylic paints. Like, I had a paint box, and the paint box just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger because I needed more colors and more colors. So every day as I'm going off to work, I'm carrying a big paint box. It's basically, those little plastic, what are they? They're like plastic bins. I had that full of paint, and then I would have my canvas and stuff. And it was very much nearing time to go to work. And I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around wanting to go. So finally, it was time to leave. I didn't want to leave my child. I had my child there. She's, mommy, please don't go, and all this. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could just stay with you, and all that. I'm going to cut the dramatics there, but that's how it was. It was a big session like that. So I just couldn't take it one day. I went out to my car, and I'm like, it's time to go again. I fell out in my front yard on the lawn and just started rolling back and forth. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to work. I'm tired of work. I don't want to go. And everybody, my whole family came out, and they basically started laughing at me because they thought it was funny, but it was that freaking real. It was that detrimental that I did not want to freaking go to work again overnight. I am sleeping. All I wanted was a freaking goddamn nap. I was tired. Burning the candle at every end you can burn a candle. And I do remember, right quick before I get back to that, talking about that paint box. It was one time I was in an apartment. We were on the second floor, and I'm running out the door. And at that time, I would have to go drop money off to my mother and father so she could stay with them overnight. Okay, so we would spend our time in the apartment during the evening. So I have to hurry up, and I'm running down the steps, and I literally fall. I miss like the last 6 steps, and I fall with this big old paint box. My paint explodes everywhere. And the man's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. And I pick up all my freaking paint. He's helping me pick my paint up. And I run off and drop my daughter off and headed back to this job that I just could not get out. So, baby, I got so many stories about it. I hated the job, but the job was stability. I had my stock. I had a 401k. I was making pretty good money at that time. We made more money than, other jobs. So they weren't paying minimum wage. I was making my overnight pay. It was differential for working overnight. So I was making, and you got a differential for working on Sundays. So I was making pretty good money, but I hated it, and I hated myself because I worked there. I literally did. Okay. Oh, what the heck did that I just do? So back to where we left off. I was getting rid of. I had failed in their store on my birthday. We're about to go see Ice Cube. Didn't get to see Ice Cube. I sell some ice cubes, but they were in the hospital. That's how I saw them ice cubes, but I didn't see the rapper Ice Cube. Okay, so I ended up having to take out a lawsuit against the company because it was their negligence and they would not allow me to use my health insurance. So it was nothing but having to sue them for reparations because of everything that ended up happening. Okay, so now fast forward, we talking $70,000 I'm about to get. Yes, yes, yes. And then the lawyer calls me. My lawyer calls me. Now this is my second lawyer. No, no, no. This was my first lawyer. I'm so sorry. I need to get into that, but that needs to be a separate story time. My first lawyer holds my case because you only have so long to sue for a personal injury case. They hold it to almost most of your time is exhausted. And all of a sudden my mother dies, and the week after my mother dies, before we can bury my mother, I get a phone call from him, and I'm thinking, hey, this your $70,000, but no. He tells me, ma'am, I have to drop your case. You fell in your dress. And I'm like, fell in my dress? What are you how I fell in my dress? He's like, yes, ma'am, you fell in your dress. And I'm like, no, I didn't. But let me see these tapes. I don't see how this could look like I fell in my dress. He's like, yeah, I just don't feel comfortable. I never seen the tapes before. That is a bold-faced lie. Why in the world would you take on a client and you never watched the surveillance tapes? Why would you do that? But he said he never seen them, and now he finally seen them, and I fell in my dress. He calls me right before we about to bury my mother. Like, do you know what that week was like? And then y'all just put that cherry right on top. Like, for real, girl. So I rushed out trying to find another lawyer and then in this meantime, Walmart, oops, I didn't mean to say their name like that, but they was trying to fire your girl. They was writing me up for any and everything. I want to do a special story time about the last time that I got ridden up where they tried to write me up, and that was supposed to be the straw that broke the camel back. Broke the camel back. And then so before that happened, I got up, got my tail up, and found a job at the Money Center. The Money Center kind of fired me over some bogus stuff anyway, again. But I went too much into that job, and it was hurting me as well. Yeah, just to make it quick, that one was because I was doing good. Like they said, oh, it was a month or something into my training. Oh, you're doing so good, so awesome. And they gave me a survey and said, be completely honest, be honest. And your girl was honest, and your girl was fired. Like right after my honesty. Are you kidding me? So I'm like, they call me and they're like, sorry, ma'am, this was like an extended interview, but you're just not gonna work out. And I'm like, extended interview? You made me quit my job of 12 years, which I should have let Walmart fire me so that I could get unemployment, because I didn't gain unemployment or anything. They said that I left the job. Though I was being harassed and made to leave, I still didn't get my unemployment. Okay, so it was a while that I was on the welfare. I ended up getting cash assistance, which was not the tea at all. Like they make you work hard as living day for this amount of money. There was no way that I could survive and take care of our daughter on that. No. So I had to quickly get out of that. They did, however, give food stamps, which that did help us out a lot, where we at least could keep food in our house, me and money, we could cook together and stuff like that. So that, worked out, but there was no way. So on my way to dropping my cousin off, that's when they give me that call. Like, girl, just return our uniform or we gonna charge you for it. Like, for real. So I'm dropping my cousin off because I'm always doing something, going out of my way. And he's going to the theme park. He was working at the theme park at the time. And he's like, well, why don't you just come in and fill out an application? And I'm like, no. Like, do you know how old I am? Like, I was 31 or something then. And I'm like, I'm not working at no theme park. I remember my sister worked at the same theme park. And when I took her to the hiring event there and waited all day long for the whole hiring process, she was like, Keita, why don't you come in and get a job? I'm like, you will never catch me working at a theme park. No, I would never. Girl, where I work at? A theme park. Like, how? Like, so I was like, no, I'm too old for that. I'm coming from a job with benefits, this and that. And now I'm going to work at a theme park. And at that time, the theme park was making only about $7 an hour. It was $7. I got an extra 25 cents for basically being a cashier. So I'm coming from the super center making 14, almost 15 back in 2012, 12-ish, all the way down to making $7.25. That's almost half my pay cut. So that was a complete pay decrease, like cut in half, chop. So not only am I injured now, I make significantly less, and I'm still, so I go in reluctantly. I fill out the application. They call me back. So my cuz is like, y'all know my cuz, D_Almighty Mac. He is the blind chef. Y'all know who he is or whatever. So they call me back. He's the one that led me to the theme park. And he's like, you're an artist. Why don't you, theme parks are where you should be working anyway. They do caricatures. They do all types of art stuff. So I'm like, yeah, maybe, possibly. And then I go to my interview with my sketchbook. And basically coming out the interview, they're like, yeah, I'm like, I'm an artist and here's my sketchbook. And they're like, yeah, okay, but you're also a cashier. So you're a cashier. I'm like, what? No, I'm an artist. If I'm starting over, I basically am starting over at 30 something. Like, I want to do what I want to do. Like, I want to be what I was meant to be. And they're like, no, you're a cashier. So needless to say, I took the job because it was all I had, that was right on the table. And, I didn't want to stay on welfare making, I don't even think it was $200 a month. I don't even think I got $200 a month. It was $150, I think, that they gave me a month. And they did give me about $400 worth of food stamps. Okay, so I'm like, I had to take the job. I had no other, I did think about possibly working in a hair store, because that's something I always wanted to do as well, because y'all know I was a cosmetologist, loved hair. So I'm like, maybe I could work in a hair store. So I was like, if I'm gonna be starting over, I want to work where I want to work. You want to do something that really enlightens you, that makes you feel passionate about going to work. And I would love to help people with their hair. Case in point, why I became a cosmetologist. Like, for real, girl. Anyways, I took the job. I said, this is only temporary until I can find something better. Girl, 9 years later. Okay, so now I am coming up on my 9th year anniversary working at the same theme park. Now, so let me tell you, when I got the job, I finally got my job after a couple of months of being unemployed. So my mother's like, Q, you working at a theme park? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's for kids. And I'm like, Mom, way to rub salt in my wound. I know. So I get the job. I worked at the cart that had the turkey legs and the churros. And baby, your little girl, not your little girl, your girl, Corporal Tono, really was hurting doing them churros like that, wrapping them churros up and wrapping them turkey legs. Oh, it felt like my hands was finna fall off for real. But I stayed there for a while, and it was hot. The cart was made of pure like metal. So when the sun would shine right in on the cart, and it just attracted all this heat. And it was so hot this one day, and I came to work, and I was basically trying to hide behind the counter from the heat. It was so freaking hot. I couldn't do it. And so I ended up transferring. I transferred into a cartoon themed restaurant. I worked there for maybe 3 years or whatever. Then I transferred to their laundry area. But while I was at the cartoon themed restaurant, guess what your girl did? In 2015, I watched my mother at age 53 graduate with her master's in business. And they were like, so Keita, what are you gonna do? I'm like, girl, I don't do nothing. I work at a theme park. I work at a Walmart. Like, nothing. I'm not gonna do nothing. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to school. I was lying. I was never meaning to go to school, but because I said that, I knew my mother would hold me to that. Keita, did you look into the schools? And so just so I didn't have to be a liar, I looked into the schools. I filled back out for financial aid. And I'm like, okay, they gave me financial aid. Like, this was a whole runaround. It was hard for me to get back into school, but I did. And then the first day of school comes. If I didn't feel crazy being an older person working at a theme park, how you think I felt when my first day of school? I am older than there was one lady that was in her 60s, but we were the golden girls. We were the golden girls in the classroom. Like, girl, okay, I think there was one in her 50s. But other than that, that was three of us. We were the three golden girls. Everybody else younger. And even the other two that were older than me, they were tech savvy. I had nothing. I knew nothing about tech. Y'all know I got that little mouse dyslexia. I didn't even know how. I was lost. I felt so crazy. So all at once, I'm working at a theme park where I'm the oldest person. And then I'm in school where I'm basically the oldest person. So this was a crazy time in my life. But that theme park, whenever they find out you are in school, baby, they support you. I could never have finished college working at Walmart. Y'all see, I never even started college back. It was they were nothing about their employees. They didn't care about their employees at freaking all. And I heard from everybody that still has ties with them that it has gotten a whole heck of a lot worse. So, baby, if it was that bad back then, I can just imagine how bad it is now. So, thank God I don't work there, and I never would have went back to school had I still worked there. The theme park, they gave me schedules around, my school schedule. Now, granted, I used to have to go to school. I would have to close a shift and come right back and open so that I can get off early enough to go to school. But they were flexible with me. They supported that. And my dream, this is where we get to that. My dream was to be a graphic designer and artist. Remember, I came in with that sketchbook 9 years ago. I came to that theme park with my sketchbook, and I wanted to do art. I wanted to create art. So 9 years later, well, actually 7 years later, I graduated. 2020 though. Graduated during the great shutdown of 2020. Right before I'm about to finally step into an internship doing graphic design in that theme park. And then 2020 came, they shut that area down. They let go, they laid off a lot of people that they had that were in that area, and they were not looking for newly, graduated old people like myself to go and work. Like, they want people to have at least 5 years of experience. So now this is where I'm in that rut where I built up and been working for this theme park for so long. So now I'm back to having my full time, having my vacation, having my, so it's not, and my health insurance. So, and I have to keep that because your girl legally blind. And whenever, I have this crazy eye disease where my eye is going to rupture, and I do require a cornea transplant. So I have to keep the insurance because of that. And my insurance is provided through my employer. So I can't just willy-nilly leave my job, So it's that torn thing. I want to be a creative. I want to be a graphic designer. It hurts me that I'm a graphic designer, finally finished. I have my diploma, I have everything, but I'm still clocking in to the theme park. So the only thing that could really make me leave that theme park, because I'm tied with my health insurance, would be for my graphic design or artist business or YouTuber business to just take off and skyrocket to the point where I don't need the things that are coming from my employer. Other than that, I'm going to always have to try to do both. So anyways, hopefully, I couldn't even get that out. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that story time. That was my grind over all these years, from 2002 at that super center to basically now working in a theme park. All right. Any questions, link them down in the description. Do I have any Walmart employees that, are here? Or do I have any theme park workers? Because maybe y'all can feel your girl too. Like that grind, like for real. Or do I have any artists or prison wives? Just let me know. Like, what do we have in common, guys? I want to talk to y'all. I want to get to know y'all. Anyways, I gotta go because it's almost time for work again, girl. I could just cry. Am I ugly when I cry? All right. Anyways, it's your girl Cadillac.